Recording will start soon. Okay. Bear me a second. Let me just bring my screen back. Get it back. My screen back. Okay. Yes. Okay. Everyone can see my screen now? Just thumbs up or not. Just pretend it's fine. Okay. Cool. All right. Thank you very much. Can someone just say something so I'll make sure that I can hear here on the device? Just say João's the coolest, anything.
Hi.
I'm the coolest.
Yes. Ooh.
You're the best. Couto.
Oh, yes. Tina Turner said it so. That song is mine. You're simply the best. Okay, let's start. I think everyone is here. Welcome everyone at home, in the office. I hope you enjoy today's session. If not, well, tough luck. And first, I want to thank everyone that contributed to the presentation. I won't name anyone, but if the presentation sucks, well, you'll know. Okay, right. Let's get this going. All right, this session, I will include an intro to technical and management paths, a discussion on the myths, a dive into each path, a chat about my journey, and a Q&A session at the end. Okay? First and foremost, technical versus management, it is not a competition and certainly not a crossroad. What we have here is two parallel roads, okay, going in the same direction that will allow people to switch from one to the other as and when they feel ready. Okay? So, technical versus management, or I like to call it blue versus red. Okay, anyone for any Matrix fan will know the reference. Okay. Now, should I stick with the technical path as an individual contributor, or take on a leadership role within management? The pressure is on, but it really shouldn't. It's true that technical versus manager parallel roads have a direct impact on your career trajectory, and your choice will have a significant effect on your potential career growth. But it is a choice that should come naturally and at a time chosen by you. Both paths will have distinct requirements, qualification, and expected outcomes, and different people will thrive in each job description. Okay, one of the most significant factors that you can help decide is your interest in working with people. But please remember, this isn't binding for life. You can switch anytime you feel you're ready. Okay. I'm just going to give a note here to the guys that you'll have just a small snippet there, and then I'll give context. That's why most of the words, most of the text is not there. Okay, but yeah, please, feel free to look at me. Sorry. So, in a management role, you will manage and lead/serve people. I consider myself a servant leader, not an authoritarian, so hence the serve here. And this will mean, obviously, helping teamwork on tasks and accomplishing goals instead of working on the technical aspects of a project. As a technical person, you'll be responsible for working directly on the technical tasks with other members of the team or alone, or even coming up with a technical solution. So in a nutshell, management roles are people-focused, whereas technical roles, they're task/solution oriented. Okay. How do you make the right decision? Blue pill, red pill? Well, let's dive in. Okay, but first, myths. There are some misconceptions about technical and manager roles. I'll give you just four. Number one, managers have no technology skills. That's a lie. It's no surprise that you need specific abilities to run an executive, but that doesn't mean the management path involves no technology skills. It's very common, for example, to see really good programmers stepping into management. You don't need to be a subject matter expert, but tech competency and problem solving are both needed for the career paths. Okay. Two, technical people have no leadership skills. Again, not true. Senior engineers or designers use a robust set of soft skills to train, educate, and control projects, even as they remain on the more technical side. In fairness, they are leaders, though, tech leaders. Technical paths require no people skills, or soft skills, as some people call it. There's a common belief that coding, for example, is a solo task completed outside of a team. In reality, high-level technical individuals need good soft skills, personal management, and the ability to collaborate. Yes, technical individuals lean more towards independent work in nuanced technologies, but that work still involves the soft skills that managers usually focus on. Management expends no direct effort on projects, which means managers do no work whatsoever. Again, not true. The management path does involve more time on internal operations and client engagement. But that doesn't mean we can skip the project builds with the team. Rather means that we spend more time with a particular project as success outcomes are now our responsibility. Okay. So what's in the technical blue pill, I hear you ask? Yeah. Okay, 3 aspects to consider. Technology, obviously, is the biggest slice. Soft skills, which is part of any job, really. And personality, which is you as a person. Okay, so people usually choose a technical career path because of their passion for technology. They enjoy working with new emerging technologies, and they like to stay up to date on what's happening in the industry. Technical roles, well, require you to hold specific technology skills, knowledge, and expertise to perform the functions. This could be junior or senior level roles where you serve as an expert in your domain. For a technical role, your skills will be job specific, obviously. The technical career path is demanding, and those working in this field must solve problems and overcome challenges that require perseverance, thorough research, quick adaptation, among others. And as a technical individual, you are definitely expected to get your hands dirty. This will involve experiments, designing products, coming up with different ways to better the process, which is very rewarding if you enjoy working on challenging problems. Also, you will probably rather spend time in quality assurance or troubleshooting than holding meetings or giving a presentation. Okay, that's a good indicator that you definitely belong on the technical side. And you might even be someone who enjoys leading a team and working hands-on with projects involving technology. This would be a step up into technical management. But some responsibilities in the technical role. Well, I try to be concise, but also to capture the responsibilities across competencies at Imaginary Cloud. So forgive me if I missed out on anything that is important. Produce clean, efficient codes based on specifications, verify and deploy programs and systems, troubleshoot, debug and upgrade existing software, estimate tasks and features, recommend and execute improvements, create technical documentation for reference, create algorithms, design and create software architecture, review and validate tasks, knowledge of software development lifecycle and agile development process, research the machine learning problem at hand, serve or integrate the built machine learning models, knowledge of the UX and UI methodologies, patterns and processes, and proficiency of design software. Okay, some pain points. This will actually be common across the 2 career paths, but one is the technology is ever changing and evolving. Nothing stays the same. Technology tends to answer all the demands of today's constantly evolving fast society, which means everything is constantly evolving as well. So you always have to catch up, okay? And that's a challenge in itself. Lack of clarity about requirements. It's a common dilemma in projects. One of the hardest parts of any project is to define requirements. I'm pretty sure that most of you have been in this sort of situation. And in other words, what we need is to establish what the client need or want. So, and then delivering it. And failing to capture this usually results in project disaster. Okay, deadlines, unrealistic and for yesterday deadlines, which will add unnecessary pressure to the project team and usually result in insatisfaction from clients and project team. Poor estimations. This will lead to delays in delivering goals. And in order to produce accurate estimates, you need to rely on data, knowledge, and experience. Not just pulling a finger up in the air and saying, well, 3 days, that's good, brilliant job. No, it doesn't work like that. Dealing with non-tech clients. Everything on computer world is possible with enough money and time. If you want it fast, it will be expensive. If you want it cheap, it will take time. The clients already know this, but they just ignore it. They ask you for a major change, a total rewrite, or even a new feature without properly paying you for, or accepting the time you need to implement it. But guess what? Things just get worse with non-techie clients. Okay, to address this, you need someone that is able to translate the technology capabilities into business goals or outcomes. There's a quote that I like to use for this sort of situation: these operational systems, languages and frameworks and platforms, they all have workarounds and troubleshooting, but I'm afraid people don't. Fully conceived and executed agile development process, you need a good process in place in order to actually go end to end. Hang on, guys, give me a second. I need to admit someone. I know I need to go and bring back my screen. All right. Apologies, I needed to admit something to the meeting. Okay. And a disbelief in UX and UI work. So frequently having to convince an argument that user experience and user interface work is really worth it and key to a digital product success. And a no CI/CD, that's continuous integration and continuous development procedure or regression testing. You will end up taking with your bugs and those of the others. Okay, some of the skills. Okay, guys, so this is not an exhaustive list, obviously. I try to have a mixture of hard and soft skills, but these are just some of the technical skills you'll find in a technical role. Programming languages. Yes.
So on the other bits, I see a lot of client or customer-faced elements.
Yeah.
As you proceed in your technical career, does that get bigger or smaller?
It depends. If you choose to go to the next level, which is, say, managing a team, you'll get more exposure to a client.
Okay.
So if you're a person that you struggle with client, facing a client, you definitely want to address that early because it gets worse.
Okay.
You will then obviously go on to, for example, meeting with the upper management of a client. That's another challenge as well. So yes, it gets worse, but it depends. If you want to step up, responsibility and challenge that will come with it. Yes, yeah. If you want to stay on that level where you're just a programmer, you just do your thing and deliver, you likely won't need it.
Yeah.
But
and those interactions are usually always done together with the project manager, or could they start to become, or they start to be on your own?
It depends on the complexity of the project, the type of the client, the need. For example, if you're going to, say, a scoping meeting, which is purely, estimating a technical task, you might not need a project manager there.
Yeah, but that would be with the salesperson.
It could be a salesperson, but it could also be, for example, a programmer, a designer going on his own. For example, I would expect a senior designer or senior developer to go on his own because he can handle a client. He goes to that seniority level that he can handle the client. So, but then again, it's up to the company's culture as well. It's whether or not the company has it built into the culture. So, but I would say it's down to the person. So, yeah, guys, I won't be exhaustive with the listings. So you can find the list of skills. Obviously, I think the key ones here, critical thinking. Is just thinking about the things in certain ways so that you can get to the right solution, and problem solving. That's across every single job you'll find. So it's all about coming up with a solution. Okay.
Can I ask another one?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So on the skills, if you could go back,
yeah,
they are all technical skills.
No, that's why I named it skills. It's a mixture of hard and soft skills. Hard skills, you'll find programming languages, software architecture, machine learning.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have soft skills like critical thinking, problem solving.
Okay.
You need a mixture.
And so where are the skills to face customer?
Communication is not there, but it's in many more.
And many more.
So, okay. Yeah, okay. Here's a clue. If you can't be exhausting with your list, just include something that you can point to. It's there. It's a lot easier. Okay, technical roles. Again, Guilherme, it's there. It's in many more. Okay.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking, and we talked about this before the presentation, I was surprised, not coming from this area, and being part of the communication with the sales team, I was surprised of the amount of influence designer or developer or data scientist can have in the sales process and with the customer. Because you know the initial meeting you have with them, if they like, you know, if the developer or the data scientist or the designer does a banging job, they don't even think twice, and it's done, close the deal, and we're talking about like
true. It's a likability factor, and one of the things that I did when I, for example, joined Management Cloud was I had a column for client-facing skills. I needed to understand whether or not the person I'm sending to a meeting has the skills or not. You could be technically very, very good, but when presenting to a client, for example, presenting to a big and red, for example, person, that could be an issue because that's the style of the client, for example. But I could have included.
That's exactly what I felt, you know, because I thought here it was much in this. When I say here in this industry, it was much more technical, like really like hard coders, guys that are geniuses, but in reality is more of a balance.
He has to be,
and really good coding skills, but you need to talk with the customer.
You need to know how to communicate. I think I should have included here. I think communication is key to whether you're a technical person or manager. Communicating is key. Obviously, it depends on type of communication. You know, it could be verbal, it could be written, it could be whatever. But you need to know how to communicate. Your ideas need to come through. Or no, there can be no miscommunication, no misinterpretation of what you're trying to say. And I think it's very important. It's very important for a developer. It's very important for a project manager, for a designer, for a data science, for anyone. People need to understand exactly what you're trying to say. If they don't, you have a problem. Okay, so roles, yeah? Okay, cool. So what's in the management red pill? Okay. There's the fourth aspect to consider in management, and that's the managerial skills. Okay, this is the knowledge and the ability for individuals in a managerial position to fulfill some of the management activities or tasks. It's the difference, and obviously you can see that there's a biggest slice for personality. A manager, it's a lot about confidence. It's a lot about who you are. Okay, as a manager, obviously you need to understand technology. You have to understand the market you're in, otherwise you'll be a terrible manager. And you have soft skills, which to me are the same across the spectrum. And you have the managerial skills, which is obviously the difference between a manager and a technical person. So, for a management role, it is less about technology expertise and increasingly more about personality, soft and managerial skills. Okay. People often choose a management career path because they like to be in positions where they can influence, manage, and serve or lead others. Management positions require confidence, communication skills, solving problems effectively, and strong leadership abilities. That is motivating, influencing. That's what I consider leadership. And one of the main reasons why management positions are desired is that they allow individuals to make decisions that will help their companies grow. That was one of the reasons why I went into management. You know, I knew that everything I did made a difference, and I was happy with it. There's a challenge, there's a responsibility there, but I was also happy with it. Project management, coordination, and budgeting. Okay. In the management path, various roles require you to juggle multiple tasks and responsibilities, but you should also be apt to manage resources, people, time, tech, and money, and to deliver, for example, projects efficiently and effectively. Again, strong oral and written communication skills. I mean, like I said, my view is that this skill is key in any role at any level. It's a skill set that a lot of people actually ignore, but shouldn't. And did you know that 80% of the time spent in projects in managing communications between the team and the stakeholders? It is. Only 20% is productivity. The rest is just talk, blah, blah, blah. But it's imperative that you can present your ideas with efficacy, with no misinterpretation or miscommunication. You have to be able as well to bridge the gap between the needs of an organization and the client. Okay, managers need to have a strong understanding on any industry or market they work in, so they can translate the needs, which is another word for requirements, into goals. Specifically within the IT industry, you should have the knowledge of how IT works, to help businesses meet their goals and optimize their return on investment. Managerial roles like business analyst or project managers, they require you to understand technology, risks, and the rewards it presents. Some of the responsibilities. Okay, there's a slight variance here. So squad management, that is managing, organizing, and motivating a squad. Project management, it's just a structured way of doing something, which in most cases will deliver value to people. Okay, in a project context, for example, it means managing and planning activities, sprints, schedules, methodologies, tools, meetings, budget, scope, time, and risks. Resource management, that is managing the project needs. That could be people, tools, materials, equipment, so for new or existing projects. Stakeholder management, that's to develop strategies to manage stakeholders, to manage their expectations, their influence, and keep them updated on progress. You'll have different types of stakeholders, aggressive ones, cool ones that will like emails, phone calls, Slack, Teams, or some, a few will enjoy going out for drinks. I wish, but it's that type. So communication management, that's when you create the various channels to deliver the messages to the right people at the right time. It could be Slack, it could be email, it could be phone calls, it could be stated reports. So it depends on a project. Progress monitoring is to ensure that everything is going to plan. So reporting, reports, and any necessary documentation. You have to ensure as well that business processes, procedures, and systems are fit for purpose. Okay, you have to be the driver of best practices. Okay, whether it's project related or simply business operations. And at a more senior level, you will run an entire department or even an entire business operations organizational structure or strategy, for example, a CEO. Okay, cool. Pain points in management. High expectations on low budgets. Okay, most clients will demand state-of-the-art on a shoestring budget. How do you address this? Well, you educate them. Okay, you try to be patient, and once you know what the client needs, you can begin setting expectations according to the budget. Again, lack of clarity requirements, poor estimations, and dealing with non-techie clients, it's common to both career paths. Lack of communication. Effective and timely communication in project management or in any business is key to success. Lack of commitment from key stakeholders. This will result in project delays and will, in some cases, lead to project closure. I've been in a few projects where the project went bust just because the key people weren't involved as often as we need them to. That is, backlog meetings, demos, sprint meetings, any other committee meetings. So it's very important. Inconsistent team performance. Our team members are not robots. When you lead a team, you are leading human beings. Poor performance will raise its ugly head at times, so it can become bad. But when this happens, you need a strategy to get things back on track. And please never overburden a team member when identifying core performance issues. Deal with one problem at a time, only move on to the next one when the performance in one aspect improves. Do not try and go for 2 or 3 things at the same time. It will overwhelm the person. A poor skill set of team members, it happens everywhere. So performance highly depends on the team member's skill set. The answer, upgrading a team's skills in-house. So I think we have to do it in-house rather than going externally. So a lack of organization. Organization is often the most time-consuming part of a manager's work life. That is planning, delegating, keeping track of delegated tasks. And this is essential to getting things done in an orderly manner. Once you do this, then you can concentrate on other responsibilities. Poor processes and procedures. This will impact everyone. This will decrease business efficiency, increase chaotic work environments. But businesses and projects will require clear processes and procedures. So, for those not familiar with the terms, a process is a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end, a procedure in established way or official way of doing something. I'll give you an example of the eggs, the cake, sorry. A process can be the action of making the cake. A procedure can be the recipe that explains how to make the cake. Okay. Inadequate tools. This will lead to poor productivity, time-consuming tasks, errors, and ultimately impact on revenue. Okay, and it can become a real pain. Behind a great company, They should be a great tool. Okay, some of the skills.
You
Okay.
list one, many more pain points.
Oh, in many more, yes, many more. Like I said, communication, very strong. You need to have strong oral and written skills. You have to be a clear and effective communicator. This is absolutely key, especially in a management role. Okay, decision making. That is the process of making a good choice. Okay, having good decision-making skills will ensure you take the right actions. Problem solving, again, is all about coming up with a solution. The more sharpened the skill, the more effective will be the solution. Planning and organizing, this will help you manage time, tasks, tools, and resources to reach a goal. Strategic thinking, it's all about the big picture, not just the details, and planning ahead, not just the present moment. And project management, it's in everything you do. You go and brush your teeth, that's a project. You go and sleep, that's a project, because you have to do a series of things before you actually get into the final goal. This adds structure and should be the backbone of what you do. Mentoring and coaching. Well, coaching is about improving an individual's on-the-job performance. Mentoring is more development-driven. It's not just about the role, but beyond. It's important that managers can either be coaches or mentors. It's difficult to be both because they're both very distinct when it comes to skills, but you have to be one or the other because your team will benefit from it massively. Commercial awareness. This is the knowledge of the industries and business and how business work. The better you understand how a business works and the market you're in, the more effective you'll be in your role. Okay, new ideas will reduce risk, will increase efficiency. Overall, will add value to business. Motivation and influencing. This is more of a leadership skill. In a management role, you will want to get the best out of people, and more often than not, motivated is recipe for success. Okay, it could be a terrible client, but if the team is motivated, we'll get through that. And the higher you go up on the management ladder, the more important the influencing skills will become. And I think one that is really important is stress management. It's not just about managing our stress as managers, it's managing the team's stress as well. And as a manager, you will deal with all sorts of situations in people, and sometimes you will encounter less than pleasant situations. And so you'll need to find ways to manage, reduce the impact it has on you and your team. Remember, just because someone is having a bad day, it doesn't mean you have to. Okay. Some of the jobs. Project manager, why would that be on top? I don't know. Business analyst, CXO, okay, that's not a case, by the way. That is a CEO, CTO, CIO, so you can throw anything, the whole alphabet into the X. Yeah. A VP, okay, is vice president of anything, a director, a head of anything, delivery, design, anything. Product manager, a product owner, or IT manager, and Guilherme, many more.
Can be a chief metaverse officer.
It could be a chief metaverse. It could be a CIO, a chief annoying officer. Yes, it could be anything. So, so technical versus management, which is better? Well, neither, really. It's a personal choice. Both management and technical have their perks. They will also have similarities and differences. Both will face ups and downs in a career breadth, salary, and growth perspectives. I will show you some factors to consider, but please bear in mind, this is not a hard, they're just pointers, okay? Don't go and say, oh, but João Couto said this, I'm not God, I'm trying to be, but I'm not, okay? Okay, so qualification. From a technical perspective, a degree is a nice to have, but you can find jobs with training and certifications. From a management perspective, a degree will be mandatory in most places. Certifications obviously will be a plus. That could be Lean Six Sigma for service management, service improvement, project management, Agile, for example, Scrum Master. Skills. From a technical perspective, technology skills will be a must. Okay, soft skills are nice to have, really good to have it though. Management, soft and managerial skills are a must. Technology skills, nice to have, but I do recommend that you have those. Growth prospect. Well, technical is abundant. technology is growing and evolving at a fast pace. That means you'll get new jobs every day. Now it's a metaverse officer or something. Tomorrow will be something else we haven't heard of today. Management. It's an incremental growth that involves factors like experience, exposure, qualification, and complexity. The leadership career path. From a technical point, you can go for technical guidance, architecting systems and best practices among the team for quality software and other technical problems, for example. Management, career guidance, architecting teams to deliver projects with efficacy, monitor and manage employees, handle interpersonal problems, recruiting, and so on. Okay, some of the final thoughts. Okay, before you decide on your target role type, I would encourage you to think about one thing. First, what would the role bring for you? And where do you see yourself in the role, in that particular role, in 5 to 10 years' time? What is it that you want to be in 5, 10 years' time? And then ask another question. Is this where you want to be or like to be? If you've chosen the management time, for example, do you see yourself reaching the C-suite in a few years? Will that bring you satisfaction and happiness? On the other hand, if you choose the technical path, would you be able to keep up with the technology and new industry standards? Do you see yourself being able to compete with the young generation of employees with upgraded skills and knowledge? Bloody hell, they're born with iPads now. So making an informed decision will help you succeed in your career. Whether you are a technical role or management role, considering the future aspects of your role will decide if your current move is right for you or not. But if you're still struggling between one or the other, just talk to people who are in the positions you've identified and just find out what their job is like. What makes them miserable, what makes them happy. Try to understand it. But in reality, many of the skills, as I said a few times already, it's required by both careers. They're interchangeable. So one or more skills can and should be used in both career paths. Okay, what does change is the extent of the specialization and the emphasis on a particular activity that it will engage in. Your choice is about selecting what excites and energizes you. Okay, so my journey from the blue pill to the red pill, but always taking the blue pill with me. Okay. I developed a passion for IT and electronics from a very young age, very young. Technology fascinated me from day one. Well, not from day one, my mom wouldn't like that, but maybe when I was about 5 years old or something, I started looking into technology, breaking electronics and trying to see how things work. But yeah, definitely computers were a thing for me. And then, so I made a really easy decision. When I went to high school, the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, I went for IT. So I wanted to learn about computers. I wanted to learn about coding. I wanted to see how a computer works. And obviously, everyone knows it's just ones and zeros. So it's all a lie. What you see is all a lie. Everything is 1 and 0s. And so for my studies, I completed the high school, and then I went straight to the army. Okay, so the parents couldn't afford uni, and at the time, I was forced to go to the army, and that was good. So an introvert, I really, really struggled to talk to people, became an extrovert. So that was an amazing experience. So I came out, well, not a different person, but an improved person, so to speak. And then once I left, I landed my first job with Portugal Telecom in the commercial department. So I was there for 4 years, but progression wasn't possible. Why? Because I lacked a degree. And I was told many times, no matter how good you are, you don't have a degree, so you will not progress. So what did I do? I went abroad. God save the Queen. So I went to UK, and the first few months were a real challenge. Different people, different language, different climate, different culture, different food. Absolutely horrible, but yeah, it's part of it. But at least I have good beer, so that was good. And I landed my first job abroad working in a manufacturing line. So after 6 months, I got my first shot at a technical role. So there was a vacancy that opened internally. I went for it because I had a CV with IT stuff in it. And I got the job. And as an assistant to the systems administrator, so basically tech support and etc. And then my manager left after 12 months of being in a job. And I went for the role, I applied, and I got the job. So that was when I realized that management is my thing. Okay, I really enjoyed being involved in the decision-making process, and because that's what I felt I could make the difference. And I love making decisions that allowed, for example, the company to grow, and I enjoyed serving people. So clearly, I just enjoyed getting a team and helping them get better, because the better your team is, the better you are as well. And then I got my second management role. I stepped out into a different company as an IT manager. And here I was in charge of a whole department instead of just a section. And then I realized that I needed to structure the way I do things. On comes what? Project management. So this is when I realized that there's a way of doing things. There's a structured way of doing things in the right way. And project management didn't save the job, but it saved part of the day. So, as I realized that I lacked, a lot of the skills, I took on 4 more certifications. I went for 4 specializations. I went for the traditional project management. I went for Agile. I went for service management, that's ITIL, and I went for systems administration. Because I was bored, I did them all in 1 year. So I had nothing else to do. I had no friends. I just read a lot of and done meeting people, talking to people, learning with people that knew a lot more than me. Guys, forgive me, is the network breaking? Oh no, it's cool.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
it just broke just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, it's the adapter. You know, when you plug in an external connector to the Macintosh, it interferes with the Wi-Fi signal. So if you don't hear anything, please just don't pretend that you're listening. Okay, that hurts me.
Yeah, man, you went full robot on that one.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Rock. And so the third management role, again, I went to a different company. This time I wanted to try myself with a charity. I was with a charity for 3 years. I wanted to work with a company that lacked the budget. So I wanted to make the most of the resources that I have on a low budget. But that wasn't the case. That's where I realized that charity in England, they're multimillionaires. They have loads of money. So I could do everything I wanted with it. So I started as a project manager. Then I went over to becoming a senior project manager, and then I stepped up to a program manager, where I was in charge of the digital transformation program and the retail improvement. And this is when I started dealing with C-suite, committees, board of administration, people that want a 10-page book or topic into 2 paragraphs. So that's what I learned how can I summarize and be concise. So nothing to do what I'm doing here, okay? So please ignore everything. Listen to what I say, ignore what I do, okay? So that's an important key. And because I needed to deal with a lot of multiple projects, and I had to oversee nearly 50 at one point, I needed to learn about program and portfolio management. So again, here I went for another crazy run to specialization, program management and portfolio management certifications, to learn to deal with various projects at the same time, different types of projects. I was running business projects, technology projects, so all complete different audience, different committees, different requirements. So that was good. Then after 15 years, I got back to Portugal, not because I wanted to, but because my wife forced me to. And I wanted to go back up north. Nope. Computer said no. I ended up in Palmela. So I'm a Palmelong now. And I took a sabbatical for 12 months, but then COVID landed. And so I helped my wife launch an e-commerce business during the COVID period. So that was good. So basically it meant that all the skills that I learned in the past 10 years, I was able to put into one single project. So that was marketing, design as well, and financial, so dealing with all sorts of stuff. But yeah, it made sense at one point to return home for one reason. I didn't have a degree, but I had gained the experience to be able to come to Portugal and show, here I am, I got experience, I can show you what I've got. And Portugal had changed. It's not the same Portugal than when I left. A lot of things have changed, obviously a lot of things that remain the same. And then Imaginary Cloud. That's it. So I got to a point where I missed my previous job. So I loved being a consultant. Basically, that's what I was, making a difference, doing stuff. And after I finished with Andrea's e-commerce business, I needed to do something different. And I wanted initially to work for international companies because I was a bit scared about how the Portuguese companies, not just salary-wise, but culture, in terms of culture and mentality, whether it would be a shock for me. But no, I was quite pleased when I was interviewed by Imaginary Cloud, and I went through 3-4 interviews, I think. And then obviously the last one was with Evan Tiago, and I knew what my decision was. So I had 2 job offers that paid me more, but I said to Eva, and I said, Eva, I've got 2 jobs, please give me an answer by Friday. She phoned me up the same day, and that was good. And here I am. But now you can see there's 2 lanes, okay, there. And the blue pill is next to the red pill. That's because of all the knowledge that you will accumulate throughout the years. They will never lose. You will never lose that. Okay, it will become important. Whether you go for red pill, blue pill, management, technical, everything you learn will always be with you, and it will always use it at some point. Me, I could not do my job, for example, as a project management in the IT industry, if I had not gone through that ladder within the IT industry. If I'd gone from a business project, for example, leading with legal, finance, and trying to jump into the IT industry, I would have struggled. So it's important that you understand the market you're in. It's important that once you get to the point where you cross the road and you have the 2 careers, they will go hand, so side by side with you throughout the whole time. Guys, thank you very much. And I will leave now. QA, that is a Q2. Ricardo. Oh, yeah, sorry, guys. Let me just stop sharing the screen so we can see the faces. Let me just share. Ricardo, don't forget we're going to ask, please. Oh, no, stupid. I don't want to share. Hang on. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, man, technology skills.
João, I did say that I need to have an understanding. I don't need to be an expert. Okay, there's a difference.
No, man, just want to say congrats. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was awesome.
Thank you, Mr. Rock, as always. Ricardo, sorry, you had a question.
Yeah, I did. Well, great presentation, of course. It really enlightens us. I mean, at least me, in a technical perspective of what the management is.
You sound a bit sleepy, though. You really did enjoy my presentation.
No, not at all. I'm not sleepy at all.
Yeah,
but
sorry, Mike.
One thing you said in the beginning was it's a parallel road, right? And for me, as in a technical part of it, I don't feel that way, because I do feel like when you go into management, of course, the soft skills are more than important, and you do need them in the technical part. But I think it's more important in the part of management. But my question is basically, how is it a parallel road, and how do you because like you said, you started technical and then you moved into management. How does that happen, and what's the biggest challenges? Because there has to be challenges, of course.
I mean, mine happened for one reason. My manager left, and there was a vacancy there. And obviously, I've always been ambitious. Okay, I've always went to the next level, the next level of discomfort. Basically, I've never ever remained in a comfort zone. Never ever. I've always been into discomfort zone. That's the only way I learn. That's the only way I can challenge myself. And then what happened is, it's not something that I planned. If I'm honest, I was as a system administrator. I had a manager. That person left, and for me I've been here for 2 years. What else there is for me? So what was for me, it's the next level up. That was the person that just left the company. So I went for it, okay? I knew that I'd never managed anyone, but I knew that obviously I had been in that role. I filled that role a few times because obviously the person goes on holiday, the person goes off sick, and someone has to step in. And I went into a few meetings. I felt really comfortable. I felt confident with the way I was talking to people. And this is where I realized that, okay, I know now what it does. What it does has a direct impact in the company. What I do has a direct impact at my role. If the most that he has, it's at my manager's role. And when I went into that role and I realized that I can make a difference here, this is really where I feel comfortable. After the person left, I went for it. I did not know whether or not I would get a job, if I'm honest, but I did go for it. And this, Ricardo, was when I realized that though I love technology, what I loved really most about the job is to be able to make decisions, to manage things, to serve people, to have a team. And to answer your question, it's a parallel role for one reason. It goes side by side until you decide that, okay, I'm happy as a technical person. I got to a point that I can either be a subject matter expert, for example, it can be an industry expert and remain so, for your whole career, or you can decide that I need to be able to do something. I want to lead the team, but to lead the team, I need some certain skills. For example, we have tech leads in the business. Tech leads are not just techs. They become managers. They manage the technical side. And to manage the technical side, it's not just about programming or architecture or technology or design. It's not. It's about managing work. It's about managing people. It's about managing the solution, finding the best solution for a particular situation. And this is where you realize that when you get to that level, you will get at some point into a level where you'll be asking yourself a question: what's next? Maybe not. Maybe you're comfortable with where you are. Maybe you're comfortable, maybe you'll become, a real expert. You already are, but for example, let's just say you'll become an expert in front end and you'll remain so. You won't want to do anything else, just that. But maybe you'll get to a point that actually, I want to come up with the solutions. I want to build the architecture for a particular software project. I want to manage the work that people do. At some point, that question will trigger. And then you'll know the answer. So you'll know how you feel about it. I can't tell you how it's done because, like I said, it's a personal choice, Ricardo. We're all different. We're all different, and things will trigger in a way that it's not planned. In my particular case, someone left. A vacancy was there for me to take, and I went to that step. I went to that area out of my comfort zone. I enjoyed it, and here I am today. So, and that's one thing that I do. I always go for an industry I've never worked because I want to learn the industry, and I always go for the next level up in terms of job roles. Because that's when I meet people that I've never met before. That's where I meet people that know more than me. That's where I meet people that do things differently. And I try to get surrounded by people that know different things than I know. That's the only way I learn. That's me. So, hope that answers your question.
It does. But just to ask, still in the same context, you would say that after reaching a technical expertise of some way, management would be a way of leaving that comfort zone instead of remaining in a technical perspective, right? Is that it? Is that a change that someone might feel about the way it's working, the context it's working on? Or
you have two options, Ricardo. First, the company you work in, what's the career framework? Okay, what's there for you? If you look up, what have you got? Okay, and then when you look up and you realize what have you got, what are the skills, the competencies, the aspects that you need to have to reach for that goal? You can be a person that, I'm happy as an intermediate, for example, as a senior. Okay, you get offered a promotion for a tech lead. Sorry, no, thank you. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm very happy where I am. Some people do that, Ricardo. I've been with people that refuse promotion because they're comfortable where they are. And so, like I said, you might not be now, but in 2, 3, 5 years' time, you might be in a position that I need more. I need to challenge myself into different things. I need to be able to do things differently. Or even better, Ricardo, you might want to coach people. You might want to be an example for people, and people look up to you. And this is when you realize that maybe I need to do something a bit different than being just a technical expert, for example. Maybe I need to do something else. But even if you become a technical expert, at some point you might be, for example, I don't know, called into tech talks. Come talk to me about React. You're the industry expert. You need to get out of your comfort zone. People will look up to you as an expert. And whether you like it or not, you will be asked that question at some point. And when, you don't know, I don't know, but it will happen at some point. That's why the two roads run in parallel. It doesn't mean you have to cross.
Mhm.
They run in parallel because at some point you might want to. You might not want to, but you might want to. And it's the same thing in the opposite side. I've seen people managing it. I don't care. Do you know what? Being a consultant in a particular software pays me a lot more. And people make decisions based on salary. And they went on to jump in being, technical consultants. It happened with Microsoft. When I worked with Microsoft in a particular project, people that, they gave up on being IT managers, etc., just to become technical consultants of Microsoft Dynamics, for example. Why? Because it paid a lot of money. And people went for it just because of the money. They've given up on managing people and become just consultants, just a one-man show, basically. But anything I say to you, it might not be true in 5 years' time, because it depends on you. It's you who decides what you want to do, and you'll get asked the question when the time is right.
Thank you.
Next caller, please.
I have a question. I don't know if people can hear me, but
What? It's Sophia.
yeah, because,
Sophia Gomes from Design. Yes, you heard about it, yeah?
I'm thinking about our reality here, and at the moment we have project managers and then technical people in the squad, right? So we don't, I think, unless I'm forgetting someone, we don't really have like tech leads, or
Oh, we do.
we do. Okay, but not in design, so maybe
That's you to work up to that job.
yeah. Okay. Just like then just tell me like a little bit more, because there's also a management responsibility to the tech leads,
Yes.
but also to the project manager. So how do they work together? Just tell me a bit about it.
I'll say there's only two tech leads in the business, as far as I could be wrong. There's only two tech leads. One is in my team, and the other one's in Penedo's team.
Okay, so I didn't.
No. I think there's another one. Please
No,
forgive me.
there's more. There's more, yeah. João is
Yeah.
a tech lead.
João. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, apologies.
André as well. André Santos.
André Santos. Okay, cool. Oh God, I should have known that. I worked with André on many things. But the relationship I have with, for example, I will obviously refer to Rodrigo, because that's the person I work with. Okay, Rodrigo manages everything that is technical in that project. I have no say whatsoever. I just ask questions because I'm curious, but Rodrigo will decide how we do things, what's the solution, who's going to do what, and when. Rodrigo manages that side. What I do manage is the sprints, the planning, people's time, for example. And obviously, I meet with Rodrigo, for example, on a weekly basis, where we manage, where I ask a question about, why are you doing this way? Explain to me, why have you made that technical decision? Anything that is technically related, a tech lead will, in my case, will take over that responsibility. Obviously, my role is to make sure that whatever he's proposing, it's in line with the roadmap or with the goals that we've agreed on. Because, for example, it happened not with Rodrigo, but with a different company, that they wanted to do things just because they wanted to improve, and it was good. It was a good solution, but it wasn't aligned with the roadmap, and we need to be careful to manage that. A tech lead will be responsible for the solution, but the solution has to link up to a roadmap, and this way, project management will be the owner of the process. Did I answer? But then again, they become like brothers. Okay, they work together to make the process and the project work. A tech lead will have the ownership and the responsibility of the technical side, and a project manager will manage the team, the sprints, the roadmap, will obviously the link with the customer. So my job, for example, is for anything, shit or not, coming from the client, comes to me and not the team. For example, why? I let the team just do their work. I know Penedo is the same, for example. I refer Penedo because we work in the same with the same client, similar projects, and we have similar ways of working as well. So
it's still a managerial job, but
Well,
on the technical
it's a
side.
subject matter expert, basically. It becomes a subject matter expert. It's a step into proper management. As a senior, you could be managing certain aspects, But as a tech lead, you will manage the whole technical side of
Again,
things.
And
and
the tech lead you don't do, or do you do?
Oh, yes, you do.
And-
But most importantly, he reviews everyone else's work.
But they implement
But-
functionality.
Yeah, that's the point.
They have to. If, for example, if people are on holidays, who's going to do the job? The tech lead will just stay there, cross
Yeah,
hands.
beyond the
But
holidays.
even-
Beyond the holidays, like.
Oh, yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Actually, the tech lead is probably the busiest person in the team. So,
I would say that this depends. Like sometimes they can get their hands on like splitting the work and backing the manager as well.
yeah.
And like implementing a little bit less and well, way less than other people from the team.
Yeah, I mean, my personal experience is the tech lead, and I will not include myself in this, the tech lead is the busiest person in the squad because it has to do his own work. It has to oversee everyone else's work. It has to understand what the client wants, and is the person responsible for the demos, for example. If anything goes wrong with the demo, its accountability sits with the tech lead. So,
and could be also the person to go when you have some issues that, for example, there is a tech lead that is expert on a specific technology, and there is other people in other squads having issue regarding that technology. That person could be the person to go to try to get help and expertise to help to find a solution for the.
yeah, I'll give you an example that actually happened yesterday with the blog. We had an issue with the blog, and who did I call? Not the Ghostbusters, Rodrigo. I spoke with Rodrigo because I knew Rodrigo had the experience in a particular tech stack. I knew Rodrigo. No, it's actually a Node. But it's not so much Rodrigo knew the tech stack. I know how Rodrigo works. Rodrigo goes straight to the point. He asks the right questions. He understands the problem, and he goes straight to the solution. And that's what we needed yesterday. We needed someone that understood what the problem was and come up with the solution straight away. Obviously, we needed to get the help of Ricardo and Rich, but just because he was an expert on a particular side. But if I have an issue or I see an issue, my job is to, within 15 minutes, make a decision on, do I need to get a senior person? That's what I did. It could be Rodrigo. It could have been Ricardo Henriques. It could have been Andres Santos, which I actually used a lot. But you will rely on the tech leads if there's no one else, just to go and sort out straight away. If there's a huge fire, you would want to go to a tech lead. So there's a reason why the tech leads.
For someone that sits on the technical side, so the majority of people that are here that are developers, it's still something in between. So if you're really passionate about the technical, the development, the coding, and so on, and not so much about the pure management.
Yeah.
Tech lead is something to aspire to because it's still very technical, but you start getting some managerial side of it.
Yeah, true. But as a tech lead, you can aspire to be the head of engineering, for example. But that's a step up into proper management. So you can still, maybe the degree of your hands-on will reduce. When you become a head of something else, you become the head of the department. That brings a lot of responsibility into it, not just the team, teams, so functions. But yeah, as a tech lead, that's not where the journey stops. You can become a head of engineering, for example. You become a head of software architecture. You can become a head of data science, for example, or data engineer.
That's why I think the way I see the thing that you're saying about going parallel, the way I read it is you can't say one thing or the other and say, okay, I want to be full on technical, and then therefore I just dismiss the other elements. No, if you want to progress, if you want to be someone that progresses, you will need a lot of those managerial skills. Yeah. Because down the line,
it will need it.
Yeah.
You can dismiss it, but there's one thing. You can dismiss one of the roads, one of the paths. It's always there.
Yeah.
When you start asking questions, it will pop up.
Yeah.
It's always there. That's why they go hand in hand. Even if you dismiss it, you ignore it, it will at some point come up and say, do you want to or not? We continue. Giovanna.
I'm just wondering if, like, we are on the tech side, we really enjoy just implementing in the really technical stuff, coding or design, I don't know. So reach the point where you don't progress anymore because like the highest you can go just with technical and implementing and all of that is like a senior level. So the next step would be tech
in Imaginary Cloud.
in general, I guess.
No, If you're referring to imaginary cloud, I mean, you can become a CTO, Chief Technology Officer. If you're that good, if you have that impact in the industry and in the company, you will reach those levels, okay? That's someone that comes from a very technical side and then understand the industry, the business, the market, and makes a difference, okay? It changes the way of working, for example. But some people prefer not to. But if you go into, for example, a different company, you can become an industry expert, for example. You can become the go-to person on a particular front-end tech, for example. But that's it's subjective because it's a bit, like I said, it's a personal choice. But the thing is,
Will you be the person that someone calls to like develop a website or develop a new application?
when you reach that point, you might do it as a hobby,
Okay.
not as a job, I think, because you will have so many things to juggle with. You won't have time to, obviously you can do coding. I mean, I think people that start coding, they code for 10, 15, 20 years, they won't stop doing it. And I'll revert the question, for example. For me, I joined a new IT, okay? I knew software, but I did not know the specifics. Programming languages, libraries, frameworks, etc. What did I do? Read a lot. Ask Tiago Franco for websites, for PDFs, for books. Asking my team, what is that? You know, it's not stupid questions. I generally don't know. Why? Because then I can manage them properly. If I understand what the, you know, I don't need to be an expert. I just need to know the basics. And for me, it's good because again, I'm learning. And every time I go for a job, a role, I need to learn something. And this is a good industry to learn. So, guys, down questions, s'il vous plaît. Oh, sorry, Pedro. Sorry, Pedro Coelho here.
For example, here on the technical path, once we reach the head of position, would you say there's still a technical component to our job, or is it mostly managerial?
A technical component will always exist. I'm a project manager, a delivery lead. I do project planning. That's technical. Okay, technical. It's a term that can be applied to many things. Now, from a programming perspective, or sorry, a data scientist. Eva's not here, so I can't really say something, and I'm not allowed to. But what I would say is you need a degree of technical hands-on involvement. You need to, but you probably like that you will have so many things to juggle with as the head of a particular competency or department that you will struggle to find the time to do something else.
To help
For
the
one reason,
others.
Pedro, once you get to that position, you are really influencing everything top down. Okay, this is when you start influencing everything that's below you and as a business as a whole. And if you get to that position, it's because you've already made a difference on the way up. You don't land ahead of, as far as I know, you don't land a head of position or tech lead position at Imaginary Cloud unless you made a difference. So, and if you reach tech lead or head of, you've made the difference and you already know why you're there. And so you will know what the job is about. And so I cannot tell you because it's not something I do. I'm not a data scientist. I understand machine learning, I understand data science, I understand data mining, and etc. But to get to that position, that's not my, that's not me. So
Can I just add one thing? So usually what Tiago says in the various meetings I have with him, he's always saying, you know, the heads are there to accelerate. So we are a small company, and so you still get your hands on dirty a lot of the time because you need things to happen. And I think, you know, if you get to head of data science, for example, you still need to do things. Probably if you were, yeah, probably, but in an 800 people company, probably that's not the case. But the majority of your time is to accelerate stuff. So you stop thinking about the implementation bits and more about the bigger picture and what you need. And then what you need to do things. And to João's point on the issue yesterday, you start to understand, you know, who you should be pointing things to and like the big picture of what needs to be happening. And that's just how it normally evolves. You know, you're probably still very passionate about doing things, but you start to be focused more on the bigger picture, what needs to happen. And you are aware that you can't do everything. So you just need to surround yourself and say, you know, this goes there, this goes there, this goes there. And it's more about ensuring that everything, all the plates are spinning, and you're the one just, you know, go there
providing the right
Exactly.
the most effective.
It's the acceleration bit.
Yeah.
Is do that, and then because the market is so volatile, things need to shift. And if people would be left to their own devices to shift, things would get. It's up to you also to understand, from everything that is spinning, what needs to stop it to spin first and to prioritize, because people that are very much focused on doing, and to João points as well, is they want to do the best thing, the perfect thing, but that's not what the business needs. So
It's the
you
right tool,
start, you need to be the one prioritizing, you need to be the one igniting. So you still get the technical bit because you need to know what people are doing, but it's not that put the button there or do the analysis there.
Exactly.
Think of a bird. You're looking down. So you start seeing things like this.
Yeah.
So you start thinking about what data science can do for the business and for the market, rather than what tool will I use in data science. So it's more about that. So no questions at home. Oh my God, they know everything. They know everything. Jesus Christ. Well, Sophia, we need to promote these people, all of them. Straight to tech lead, head ofs and everything. They know everything. It's amazing.
Well,
Okay.
do you have any recommendations for people that,
No, go on, sorry.
any, from your experience, what like old man recommendations would you have?
Old man.
Um,
Oh gosh.
I'm going to use an F
I'm
word.
just saying
I'm going to use an
because,
F
my
word.
team-
Fantastic question.
I got people in my team, and sometimes I'm talking with them, and I feel like an old person with, yes, in my time.
I mean, my advice is, yeah, no, when you get
With
to
advice.
50, like Guilherme, yeah, I understand the point. My advice is, but that's biased. Okay, that's mine. So maybe don't take it too much too personally. But
Things like
be ambitious, for
don't do
example.
that on the Christmas party or.
Don't during the Christmas party. Don't drink water. Don't drink water. Drink Christmas party. Okay. No, on a serious note, getting out of the comfort zone, that's what always drove me towards, achieving my objectives professionally and personally. It's always getting out of my comfort zone, going for the next level. Why? There's a gap, but the gap is good. There's knowledge to be learned. So there's knowledge to be gained. I've always been ambitious as well. So I start one role, but I start planning for what else can I do? I can do one thing with my role, but the real value that I give to the company is when I start going out of my actual role, when I start offering a lot more than what my role entails. My advice is to get out of your comfort zone, be ambitious, and drink water. Don't drink Coke. So, no, but that's it really. So, and it's another thing that actually is been really good for me is I've never ever looked at people from an authoritarian or dictator style like you've seen in many companies, military style. It's a flat level. It's a flat line. You can confirm with anyone that works with me, even now. It's a flat line for me. I'm there to serve. I know my purpose. I know my role. Okay, and I allow people to do what they think it's best. Okay, because you need to empower people to do that. If people feel empowered, people will do great at their jobs. If people feel they're being micromanaged, you got a problem. If you don't trust your people, your team, there's two problems. Either you got something wrong with you, or there's the issues in the team that you're not addressing. So for me, it's a flat structure. I'm there to serve people and not to lead or micromanage. So that's something that it worked really, really well for me. So till now, we'll see tomorrow. People complaining to Eva about this session. So more questions? No? Okay, I'll ask a question. A lot of people will raise their hands. Who wants to go? Oh my God, everyone wants to stay. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Obviously, any questions, please feel free to ask Sophia. And no, anything you need to have a chat, please reach out. If you want to have more questions, or if you've got more questions, if you need some answer, I'll be gladly, I'm gladly here to, I'll be glad to help. I'll be glad to try and answer. But please, this is a decision that only you can make. You can get advice from many, many people, but only you at the end of the day will make that decision, okay? So it has to excite you, it has to energize you, okay? So that's important. You need to really like what you do. If you don't, please go on and do something else. So that's my advice. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't forget to say, Mr. Rock, yeah. Come join project managers, we have cookies. And you probably noticed as well, the red and blue pills, they're also reference to Star Wars, you know? Blue saber, red saber, yeah, okay. So we're in the Darth Vader side now, the cool side. All right, guys, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day. Those in the Coimbra office, enjoy the food. The food is really, really good. And yeah, we'll do our best to enjoy the food here. So we've still got some snacks. And thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye. See you guys.
Let me
Bye.
just, how do I, stop recording.
Quando tiveres com isto.